Hey, how's it going? It's Sean Bradshaw from cyberfred.com, and in this lesson I'm going to talk about strumming without a pick. So strumming with your fingers. All right, now there's a few ways to do this, and a few reasons why you might do this. One is you don't have a pick. And another is you get some different sounds by using your fingers and kind of different techniques that you can do. So one of the first kind of ways that you might think about doing this is what I call the pretend pick. That's you don't have a pick with you, and what you do is you kind of put your fingers together as if you have a pick and kind of use the last segment of your finger, kind of have that extending out from where your thumb is, and you're just kind of using that as a pick. So I'm just overlapping, letting a little bit of my first finger extend beyond my thumb, and then just kind of pretending like that's a pick. All right. Another way some people strum without a pick is, again, kind of like you're holding a pick, except this time what I'm going to do is not kind of overlap that last segment of my first finger, but kind of make them a little bit more even. And then when I'm strumming, what I'm doing is on the up strum, I'm going to be strumming with my thumb fingernail, and on the down strum, I'm using my first fingernail. So here my first finger and thumb. I'm not extending my first finger out in the last one, but more like this. And then up strum with my thumb fingernail, down strum with my first fingernail. So a little different sound. Neither of those are ones that I really use, because the one I'm going to show you next is kind of the most common way that I strum when I'm doing this, either going between playing fingerstyle things, or I just don't have a pick and I want to do some strumming. And what that is, if I was going to just play kind of all eighth notes, just down, and what I would normally just strum down and up with my pick, what I'm going to do is this. On the down, I'm going to use my first, second, and third fingers, the fingernail. And kind of keep your hand relaxed. You don't want to keep it stiff and do something like this. You know, your fingers kind of are going to brush across the surface of the strings. And then on the up strum, what I'm going to do is just use my index finger. And I'm going to kind of let that last segment of my finger kind of relax a little bit and go across the strings like this. So what happens is I'm going to get a lot more power on my down strums. And on my up strums, I'm really not hitting all 6 strings. In general, in strumming, you don't really try to play all the strings that you do on a down anyway. So I'm just kind of brushing on maybe the top 3, maybe 4 strings, depending on the chord that's going on. Here I'm playing G, where it's an all 6-string chord. So now listen to me play. I'm going to play kind of a common strum pattern where I'm doing this idea of my 3 fingers down on the beats, and on the ands, my first finger is going to be doing the up. All right, so here it is from an angle more like you're looking down at the guitar. So down with 3 fingers, up with my index. Now you could do this all with just your index finger, but I think you kind of lose something. You lose that kind of accenting sound that you can get by having all three of your fingers. Another common way to strum without a pick is just to use your thumb. And using your thumb kind of gives a little bit more subtle sound, and so you don't get the volume that you get from any of the other techniques where you're using your fingernails to do the down strum. That's where you get a lot more volume, but if you're kind of looking for kind of a softer sound, just using your thumb is a good option. Now there's kind of all sorts of complicated rhythmic things that you can do with your right hand. Flamenco guitar players are kind of the most advanced things that you can do with your right hand. So if you want to check out some cool kind of strumming techniques, look up a YouTube video or something and type in flamenco guitar, and that's kind of taking what you can do with your right hand to some extremes as far as strumming. But I just wanted to show you a couple of basic ways that you might approach playing and strumming without a pick. And most certainly, if you're doing this on, especially on a steel string guitar, your finely manicured nails may suffer a little bit, but it's the price you have to pay as a guitar player. So if you do a lot of strumming with your hand and not a pick, you might grow out your fingernails a little bit more. Fingerstyle players grow out their fingernails a little bit more. I can't stand long fingernails on my hands, so I have to sacrifice some sound and certain things for playing fingerstyle because of my little thing with not having fingernails. So at one time I did have long fingernails when I was studying classical guitar, but I had to do away with them. I just couldn't stand having long fingernails. So, all right, have fun with your new strumming technique, strumming without a pick.